Hello.
Morning.
Hello.
It's
Morning.
Monday.
Afternoon. Evening.
Week 107 of lockdown. Is it?
Dunno.
It's April.
It's possibly April. Fairly certain it's Monday. Everything else a little bit vague.
How are you all doing? You all right? We're doing all right.
Actually doing all right.
Yeah.
It's
I
not.
might secretly be enjoying lockdown a little bit, actually.
So we've been talking about training, and I said so again. But we've been talking about training, and we've been doing quarantine cuisine, showing you how to make tasty food from scratch. But we haven't talked about
Nutrition.
nutrition.
Yay.
Okay, especially at the moment where boredom will drive you to the fridge. I'm a boredom eater. I'm an emotional eater as well. To be honest, any excuse to eat more food, I'm there.
I eat when I'm tired,
Mm-hmm.
and I do sometimes eat when I'm bored as well. Luckily, the kids ate a month's worth of snacks in 4 days flat. We lost our temper and refused to buy any more. So there actually is no unhealthy food in our house,
Yeah.
apart from Dave's bottle of scotch, which is a medical necessity.
It is. And the rum.
So that's why our nutrition is looking pretty good. We're just out of options.
There's nothing left in the house, which is actually a big secret. If you don't buy it, you can't eat it. Especially with, I don't know how you guys are getting a lot of your food, whether you're going to the supermarket, or whether you're using home delivery or click or collect. Ultimately, if it's not in your shopping basket, you can't put it in your face.
So you've only got to be good once. You've only got to be controlled once when you order your food or when you go shopping.
Yeah.
So that helps.
It really does. The other thing I'd say that's really important to do, and we'll get into more tips and tricks as we get in through this, is plan your week's food.
Yeah.
Okay, so do a meal plan.
We sat down last night. Partly it's connected to you're only supposed to be going to the supermarket once a week, and we're really trying to stick to that. But yeah, we sit down and we list, and it included breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Yeah. So we plan our food for the week, and then that then informs the shopping list that you're going to do, because it's a disaster to go to the supermarket when hungry,
Yeah.
because you'll ignore the outside aisles and you'll go straight for the middle where everything's made out of sugar.
You need to be a little bit flexible. You know, if there isn't eggs and you had eggs in your meal plan, that's a bit different at the moment. But yeah, meal planning, and again, you've only got to think once.
Yeah. So tip 1, don't buy it in the first place. Tip 2, plan your week's food. So make a meal plan. And it doesn't have to be extravagant or haute cuisine or fancy. You just got to make sure you cover the basics. And that's what we're going to talk about today, is covering the basics. And the most basic thing of all, and I've got a little board to show you,
He does.
is dun, 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 nutrition for idiots.
Shall I hold it in front of me, because you're going
It's
to be
all right.
doing the
I'm
talking?
going to keep popping it up every now and again. So, rule 1. Let's talk about that. It's all about the calories. It doesn't matter what diet is the current favourite of the internet at the moment.
It doesn't matter what your goal is. Weight gain, weight loss, strength. Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
What your goal is. It's calories.
It's calories. If you want to lose weight, you have to eat fewer calories. And if you want to gain weight, you have to eat more calories. And where those calories come from are largely, not entirely, but largely not important. If you required 2,000 calories a day to maintain your current body weight, hypothetically, and you were to eat 1,000 calories of candy, of sweets, you'd still lose weight.
Wouldn't be healthy,
You'd lose your teeth.
but it would work.
You'd get scurvy, but you would lose weight, okay? If I tied you to a tree for the weekend, after that weekend of nothing, you would be lighter because you've not taken calories in. It's all about calories in, calories out. It's just about that. That said, we don't want to lose muscle, because muscle is really important, at the same time. So, which is where rule 2 comes in. So rule 1, it's all about the calories. It doesn't matter what diet you're following. Okay, and we'll get onto that in a bit. Rule 2, protein. Tell us about protein.
Protein is excellent for you for many reasons. Number one, it helps maintain and also, if you have enough, build muscle mass. So whether you're deliberately trying to get stronger or if you're trying to lose body fat but look nice at the end of it.
Toned, apparently it's called.
I don't use the toned word. Protein is super, super important. The other really nice thing about protein is it's filling.
Yes. It's
when it comes to storing food in your body, how do you say the word? Satiety? Feeling full and not feeling hungry.
Satiating.
Same amount of calories in a meal, but a higher protein content than previously will absolutely help you do that.
It makes you feel full and you feel fuller for longer because you don't get the spikes in blood sugar because of carbohydrates. Now, carbohydrates aren't the big evil. They are an important part of your 3 macros. Macros, fancy word for what food is made out of. There's protein, there's fat, and there's carbohydrate. The dog is restless behind us, scrunching on his beanbag. So there's protein, there's fat, and there's carbohydrate. And that's basically what all food is made out of. And then on top of those, you've got the micronutrients, which are your vitamins and minerals, and probably water and stuff. Okay, but the main ones, the ones that contain energy, or calories, is the same thing, is protein, fat, and carbohydrates. And out of those, protein is the one that you want to keep at a certain level. So this is diet advice for people who exercise and want to either maintain their current physique or improve themselves. And that improving can be losing weight or gaining weight. Depends what you're trying to train for. But it's all about the calories.
I love that about our gym. When people come in and weigh themselves at reception and they say, "Oh, I've gained a kilo," you have to go, Is that good or yeah, great, well done.
Okay, because gaining weight's fine.
Yeah.
What you weigh is irrelevant. It's absolutely irrelevant. Body composition is more important. So you can be in great shape at 100 kilos, or you can be a fat blob at 100 kilos, or 220 pounds for anyone across the pond who's watching this. So the weight you are is less important than your body composition. And one of the things that is really important to keep your body composition, muscle amount, at a good high amount is you've got to consume enough protein. Protein is the most important one. But how much protein? Well, it's real simple. It is 2.2 grams of protein per kilo of body weight, or it's 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. Same thing, okay? So I weigh 120 kilos at the moment. I times 120 by 2.2, which is 240, which is 264. So in theory, I need 264 grams of protein every single day. Now, that's not 100% true, because although in incredible shape,
yes, body of a god,
there is still some small trace amount of body fat. Okay, well,
nothing.
Okay, very small amount of body fat on top of that rippling muscle. So I can actually take that number of 264 down because I'm looking at my lean body mass. How do you know what your lean body mass is? It doesn't really matter, but if you are of a healthy body weight, probably take 20% off that number, okay? So for me, at a lean, shredded 264 pounds, I'm going to take 20% off that, because I'm probably 20% body fat, or maybe a bit more, which is, call it 25, call it 50. Okay, so I'm going to take 50 off 264, which gives me 210, 220 grams of protein to have every day.
We'll pop the numbers and the formulas down below, so don't panic.
Yeah, let's keep it real simple. Multiply your body weight in kilos by 2.2, and that gives you a maximum amount of protein you should be eating, okay? And then if you've got a little bit of body fat, and I'm sure you haven't, all of you look pretty lean to me, then take between 10 and 30% off that. 10 if you're quite lean, 30 if you're a bit fatty, you at the back. And then eat that amount of protein every day. Now, if you're training to gain muscle, then by all means eat more protein. This protein amount I'm giving you is your daily minimum amount of protein. Don't eat less than this. Protein, as Zoe mentioned, is muscle sparing. So if you're on a diet that has deficit calories, but your protein level is high and consistent throughout the day, so the protein that usually is spread throughout the day, then the body will spare its own protein. It won't burn that for energy, it will burn fat instead, is the plan. Where do you get protein from?
The most obvious source is meat of varying kinds. You can also get it from meat replacement, so tofu and what's the other? Soy, thank you. It's present also in legumes, I think lentils and things like that.
Lentils and beans.
Lentils and beans. It is also reasonably present in dairy products, so things like yogurt and cheese can be good. What I would say is when you've got that daily protein number, it can look quite high. I'm a meat eater, and I would struggle to get my relatively low protein. I think I'm supposed to eat like 120-ish grams of protein a day, and if I got all of that through meat and other incidental protein from veg, I'd be pretty miserable. I don't want to eat that much meat, so I have what to me is a sensible amount of meat on my plate, and then I top it up with protein powder. Dave hates protein powder and would far rather eat the meat. So you can play around with that to suit your preference, your lifestyle, fit it in with family meals, whatever.
So
calories.
Calories.
Protein.
And then with that protein, make sure you have it spread throughout the day. So your body's getting a constant source of what protein is made out of, which is amino acids.
I miss breakfast.
Yeah, I haven't had breakfast yet either.
Don't do that.
No, don't do that. Well, or do.
If only we had made it overnight oats like we did on our last quarantine cuisine.
So make sure you have protein with every meal. And if you're having snacks as well, make sure they have protein in as well. And it's easy then to hit your daily amount of 120 grams or 220 grams of protein each day.
And still feel full.
And still feel full if it's spread throughout the day. There's all sorts of myths about protein. You can't absorb X amount of protein per serving. It's rubbish. It makes no biological sense. Although we are civilized, gentle people now, we come from hordes of barbarians for hundreds of thousands of years that might have only ate meat every couple of days when they made a kill, because we're hunter-gatherers, and we've been hunter-gatherers for hundreds of thousands of years. And you would have fallen upon that meat and consumed as much as you could in a single sitting, because there's no refrigeration. There was very little in the way of meat preservation ways. There was no salting as such. There was no curing. There was no smoking. There would have been dried out strips of it. But like the meat wouldn't have lasted.
Don't worry about it. Just eat.
Don't worry about it. Just eat the meat. Okay. So that's protein. Make sure you eat enough. Make sure you calculate what your body weight is and then multiply that by 2.2 if you're taking your body weight in kilograms, okay, or times it by 1 if you're using your body weight in pounds. And that gives you how many grams of protein you've got to have every single day.
What's the third rule?
The third rule is we need to calculate the amount of calories that you have to have each day, okay? So rule 1, calories in, calories out. It's all about the calories. Rule 2, protein, make sure you eat enough and spread it throughout the day, okay? Rule 3, how to calculate how many calories you need every single day. Now this is a guideline because everybody's got slightly different metabolic rates, although less than you believe, okay? But what everybody differs from hugely is daily physical activity levels. Some people are very active, some people are not. And I'm not talking about going out to the gym or going for runs or long dog walks on the beach. I'm talking about some people are twitchy, always moving, always fidgeting, always up and down off the sofa, tidying up, moving around the house, they don't sit still. Well, those people burn a huge amount of calories compared to somebody who's a lot lazier and sedentary. I'm capable of sitting on the sofa and watching TV and barely blinking.
And some people have far more active jobs.
Yeah.
Again, a bit different during lockdown, but think about the daily calorie requirements of a man that's a builder versus a man that sits at a desk for 8 hours.
Huge difference. So metabolism plays a part, but really it's nearly always down to your daily physical activity level. So these are guidelines at best, okay? You're going to take your weight in kilograms, and we need to convert this into pounds. So we're going to times your weight by kilograms into 2.2 by 2.2. So if you weigh 100 kilos, just for maths, you times that by 2.2, that gives you a number of 220 pounds. Or if you know what your weight is in pounds, just use that number. Okay, so you've got your body weight in pounds. Now what you're going to do is, if you are a sedentary person with a fairly low physical activity level and you want to lose weight, you want to take your body weight down, you're going to take that number and you're going to multiply it by 10. So let's take somebody of a normal body weight. Okay, let's say this person is female and weighs 150 pounds. Okay, so weighs 150 pounds, which is roughly about sort of 67 kilos, give or take, off the top of my head. So 150 pounds times 10 is 1,500. So for that 150 pound lady, a calorie intake of 150, so 1,000, yes, well done, 1,500 gives you approximately your basal metabolic rate, which is the amount of calories to neither gain or lose weight. Maintenance. Approximately. It's not carved in stone, everyone's different, but it's a starting point. So if you were that 150 pound lady and you ate 1,500 calories, in theory, you would neither gain or lose weight. So here's the next stage. You decide what you want to do. And let's say this lady wants to lose some weight. You eat 1,500 calories a day, every day, for 7 days. You weigh yourself at the start of it, and you weigh yourself at the end of it. Personally, I'd do it for 2 weeks, but, let's be realistic. So after a week, you'd monitor your weight, and at the start of it, you're 150 pounds, and at the end of it, well, it's going to be one of three things. You're the same weight, you've increased weight, or you've decreased weight. And then that informs you what you're going to do to your calories thereafter. If your weight remains the same and you want to lose weight, you're going to take your calories down 10%. So you were on 1,500, 10% of that is 150. Take 150 off 1,500, you're now going to be eating 1,350 calories a day. And we'll talk about how to track that in a second. And then you do that for a week. A week later, on 1,350 calories, your body weight was 150, but now it's down to 149. Excellent. It's going in the direction you desire. So now you're going to stay on that amount of calories, 1,350, week after week until your weight loss stops for a week. And then you take it down another 150 calories.
And the reverse would be true if you're trying to gain weight.
Exactly.
Add it on, track it over the course of a week.
Yeah.
Have I got the desired outcome? Yes, great, carry on. No, adjust, give it another week.
Now, weighing and measuring food and tracking calories is a massive pain in the ass, okay? And it does require an amount of fuss and dedication you might think is a little bit over the top and not for you. I get it. But the thing is, unless you know what you're putting in your body from a calorie point of view, you can't then accurately measure the results from it. You can't.
There's too many variables.
There's too many variables.
So you've just got to suck it up, basically. Weigh your food, eat the same things for breakfast because it's just easy, batch cook, portion stuff out. there is an element of work to it, and there is no getting around it. If you want the results, you have to put the work in.
And you have to be able to then track your calories. There are a load of apps out there. The standard go-to one is MyFitnessPal.
Yeah, that's what I use.
That's what Zoe uses. It's real simple to use once you've got your head around it. It will give you recommendations of how many calories you're supposed to be eating. You can follow that. Personally, I think it takes you too low too quickly. I would choose to ignore that. It also asks you at the start of it, how much weight do you want to lose? And how quickly do you want to lose it? Now, we're all human, and that comes with sort of faults and problems. So you will probably choose too big a weight loss too soon, and you won't be able to maintain
£1
it.
a week, people.
Maximum.
Half a kilo,
Yeah.
max.
Max.
The other nice thing about MyFitnessPal is if you do have meals that you eat regularly, you can create that so it's a super quick add into your daily list.
Yeah.
If you cook particular recipes, you can plug them in there, tell them what the portion control is, super quick.
Yeah.
So if you track it using an app, probably tend to say for the first week, there's quite a lot of the faff while you're building up that database of commonly eaten foods and meals. After that, it's just tap, tap, tap.
It is. And you're going to cook food and you're going to put it on your plate. All you're going to do now is cook food, put your plate on a set of digital scales, available at Amazon, and then you're going to put your food on the plate. You've added one stage to it, okay? And then you enter that data into MyFitnessPal. It's a fuss, it's a hassle, but unless you know what you're tracking, there's absolutely no way on earth you can get measurable, quantifiable results. So you have to do it, okay? Now we talked about protein. There's two other macros in there, carbohydrates and fat. Here's the thing, it doesn't really matter what you then take of each one of those, okay? As long as it then comes up to your total amount of calories. So let's talk about our lady who weighs 150 pounds, and in that first week, she's eating 1,500 calories. Because she weighs 150 pounds, that's how much protein she's going to take each day, 150 grams of protein, which is a lot. And let's say she wants to lose a bit of weight, so you could take that number down to say 130, 120. But it's 150 grams of protein that she's taking in every day, hypothetically. 150 grams of protein gives you 600 calories. So 1 gram of protein has got 4 calories in it. 150 times 4 is 600, probably. So out of your 1,500 calories, 600 of those is protein. So that gives you 900 calories left, okay?
And how you eat that remaining 900 calories divided between carbs and fat is your personal choice.
It's your personal choice. There's 2 basic ways to do it. You go down a higher carb route with low fat, or you have a higher fat with low carb.
Or you just let it fall where it may, and as long as you're putting it in MyFitnessPal, don't beat yourself up about it.
Don't beat yourself.
There's enough to be getting on with the total calories and the protein.
Once you get down to 12, 11% body fat, and you're wanting that 8th ridge of abs to show up through your paper thin skin, then there's
That's where you start faffing. But for the majority of people, daily calories, protein, write it all down. Don't worry about the rest.
Yeah. So that's a good starting point for those that want to lose weight. What else have we got to add to that?
General pointers, particularly if you are a woman, you will find that your weight will vary according to where you are in your cycle. So some people like to weigh themselves once a week. Other people will weigh themselves every day, but take a weekly average. Please do not get hung up on your every single day weight. And do bear in mind where your cycle falls, you know, water retention, that kind of thing. And when we talk about making a change, ideally you want to do one thing for 2 weeks to see if it works. It can be a bit frustrating having to wait that long, but give your body 2 weeks. Your body does not react instantly to every single thing.
No.
Give it a chance to catch up. But as long as you're sticking to those main rules, you should be fine.
Exactly that. Tips and tricks. If you find that following a certain type of diet works for you, that's fine. So there's paleo diet, there's...
Dave does really well on very low carb.
Yes.
I really don't.
Yeah. So like if I'm actively trying to lose weight, I can cut my carbs down to almost nothing and I get no ill effect from that. I don't get something called keto flu. Okay.
I get ratty and want to eat crisps.
Yeah.
So I choose healthy carbs instead. Not a problem.
But the point is, Zoe would be in a calorie deficit and I'd be in a calorie deficit to bring our weight down. As long as you're hitting your protein requirements, what the mix is of carbs and fat is way less important than anyone would have you believe.
Batch cooking.
Batch cooking. Yeah.
Weighing stuff out.
Meal planning. These are sort of the tips that you need to do. And let's talk about snacking. Okay?
Yes. I like snacks.
Yes. The snacks must have a little bit of protein to them. So something like some nuts is great, but be careful. Nuts are also very high in fat and very high in calories.
Same with dried fruit. People think, oh, healthy trail mix, billion calories.
A billion calories, which is fine.
As long as you write it down.
As long as you write it down. Also, what you drink. If you're drinking black coffee or black tea, that's absolutely fine. Or green tea or water, there's no calories in that or negligible amount of calories. If you're then adding milk to that, you need to add that into your MyFitnessPal. If you're adding sugar to that, you need to do that.
Alcohol.
Okay? Alcohol is ridiculously high in calories.
And it's completely pointless. If you eat a handful of high-calorie nuts,
really
they're filling, there's protein in there, there's good fats in there, there's a benefit to eating a handful of high-calorie nuts.
Yeah.
There is zero benefit to drinking alcohol, apart, well, from a nutrition point of view. Mental health. I'm going to leave that with you. Not qualified.
Now, alcohol's an unusual one. It's almost like the fourth macronutrient. Protein, fat, carbs, alcohol. Alcohol's got 7 grams of, it's got 7 calories, per gram. So it falls in between protein and carbs at 4 calories per gram and fat at 9 calories a gram, kind of falls in the middle there. So it's super high in calories. The weird thing about alcohol, though, is your body can't use it as energy until it's been converted into something else. And guess what it gets converted into? Fat. Okay? So the energy you get from alcohol can't be used until it's been turned into something else.
So it's pointless. Yeah. Have a drink if you want to, but put it in your calories.
Yeah. And as long as you hit your calories, that 1,500 for this 150-pound lady, then you'll have a consistent
deficit.
A consistent deficit.
And a calorie deficit is just using more calories than you consume.
Yeah. You need to track it for a week. You need to monitor your weight, okay? And you need to then make adjustments, small adjustments, to then get you moving in the direction you want to. You add 10% if you want to gain weight and you haven't. You take away 10% if you want to lose weight and you haven't. Okay, once a week, one change. That's about it, really. If there's any questions that we want to go a little bit deeper into nutrition, please put them down below and we'll try to answer them.
All the formulas and things will be underneath as well as links to Facebook and Instagram and our coffee account and our website and all of the things.
All of the things. And use this quarantine weird experience that the whole world is going through as a chance to give yourself a routine. Get up at a set time. Drink 2 glasses of water. Take your vitamin pills.
Or a pot of tea.
Okay? But drink about 1 pint to 2 pints of fluid upon waking up after you've had a wee. Okay?
Eat breakfast, eat lunch, eat dinner. Factor snacks into your calories. Don't drink too much.
Yeah.
Don't buy the crap in the first place.
Go for an hour's walk every day. 3 times a week. Do some other form of exercise, be it going for a run, skipping, shadow boxing, lifting weights, swinging kettlebells, wrestling badgers.
I hope you found that overview useful. There's quite a lot of information in there, but as I said, we've summarised it down below.
Don't freak out about the maths. It's real simple.
Really easy.
And
we'll be back later in the week with extra workouts.
Love you all.
Bye.
Bye-bye.